When people hear the name Desmond Haynes, they think about greatness, one of the greatest opening batsmen in cricket history. A man who helped make the West Indies cricket team nearly unstoppable during its golden era. He broke records, earned international fame, and built enough wealth to live however he wanted. That's why his life today feels so unexpected. In Barbados, Desmond Haynes lives quietly, far from the flashy lifestyle many people expect from sports legends. No luxury headlines, no celebrity chaos, no constant need for attention, just a simple life that feels surprisingly ordinary. And that raises a fascinating question. Why would a man who earned global respect choose such a quiet life? To understand his quiet life today, you need to understand how terrifying he once was. And before Desmond Haynes became a global cricket icon, his life looked incredibly ordinary. He was born in Bridgetown as the oldest of three brothers, with two younger siblings, Ricky and Mark. But one of the most important realities of his childhood was this: he wasn't fully raised by his parents. While his mother worked, much of his upbringing was shaped by his grandmother, Irene Haynes, the person he has often described as the main figure in his early life. His family had no professional cricket background, no famous relatives, no inherited opportunities, no built-in pathway to success. Like many young boys in Barbados during that era, Haynes picked up a cricket bat at around 6 or 7 years old for one simple reason: cricket was everywhere. It wasn't a luxury sport. It was part of everyday life. Kids played in neighborhoods, schoolyards, and open streets, and in Holders Hill, competition was everywhere. The area had a reputation for producing strong club players, but talent alone guaranteed nothing. And that's where Haynes' story became different. He had no private coach, no shortcuts. Everything had to be earned the hard way. He spent countless hours practicing on local fields and neighborhood streets, developing his technique through repetition and discipline. While many kids loved cricket, Haynes treated it with unusual seriousness. That quiet hunger eventually separated him from thousands of other young players dreaming of the same future. And then, he met the partner that changed everything. For bowlers in the 1980s, seeing two men walk onto the field often felt like very bad news. Desmond Haynes and Gordon Greenidge didn't just become a successful opening pair, they became one of the most feared partnerships cricket had ever seen. From 1978 to 1991, the two opened together in 148 test innings, producing 6,482 runs at an average of 47.31, including 16 century partnerships. And that was only part of the damage. In ODI cricket, they added more than 5,150 runs together at an average of 52.55. Across both formats, they produced more than 11,600 opening runs, turning themselves into one of the most dominant opening combinations in cricket history. And timing made them even scarier. This happened during the peak of the West Indies cricket team empire of the 1980s, a team many still consider the most intimidating side the sport has ever seen. And Haynes Greenidge often set the tone before legends like Viv Richards even arrived at the crease. But what made the partnership truly special was their contrast. Gordon Greenidge was louder, more aggressive, more destructive. His powerful pull shots terrified bowlers, and innings like his legendary 214 not out at Lord's in 1984, while chasing 342 in a single day, became cricket folklore. He often looked like he wanted to physically dominate bowlers. Haynes was different, calmer, more technical, more controlled. He became the reliable sheet anchor, the player who stabilized innings and allowed Greenidge's aggression to flourish. He was especially brilliant in ODI cricket, scoring 17 ODI centuries, and at one point holding major records in the format. And what makes Haynes even more respected is how honestly he viewed that partnership. He once admitted, "Our opening partnership broke records, but Gordon was the better player. His technique was super, especially against spin." That quote says everything about his personality. Even while making history, ego never seemed to control him. He understood that greatness doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes quiet consistency can become just as dangerous. And eventually, that dominance brought something he had never seen growing up: real money. And this is where people often get athletes from West Indies cricket team's golden era completely wrong. They assume former stars are either secretly broke or secretly worth hundreds of millions. The truth was far more nuanced, especially for Desmond Haynes. During the 1980s, even though West Indies dominated world cricket, players were not receiving the kind of guaranteed money modern athletes enjoy today. There were no massive central contracts, no multi-million-dollar franchise leagues, no giant endorsement deals waiting after every century. Most players earned through test match fees and ODI payments, and those numbers were often surprisingly modest by modern standards, usually only a few $1,000s per match, sometimes with relatively small daily allowances during tours. And that frustration occasionally boiled over. There were multiple moments when West Indies players had to unite and push the West Indies Cricket Board for better financial treatment. Being the best team in the world didn't automatically mean financial power. That's why county cricket became such an important financial lifeline. For Haynes, his stint with Middlesex County Cricket Club became one of the most important income streams of his career. He scored more than 7,000 first-class runs, proving his consistency while earning stable income outside international cricket. And unlike athletes who panic financially after retirement, Haynes planned his next chapter carefully. After leaving professional cricket, he kept building stable income through leadership positions rather than chasing fame. He served as chairman of selectors for the Barbados Cricket Association, president of Carlton Cricket Club, secretary of the West Indies Players Association, lead selector for Cricket West Indies, director at CWI, and in a surprising career move, he even served as a senator in Barbados, showing his influence extended far beyond cricket. That's the part many people miss. Haynes never earned modern superstar money like today's cricket icons. But through discipline, smart decisions, and steady work after retirement, he built something many athletes never achieve: long-term financial stability. He became wealthy enough to live comfortably, without ever becoming dependent on fame. And what he chose not to spend that money on might be even more interesting. Because this is usually the chapter where retired athletes begin collecting visible proof that they made it. The mansion, the luxury cars, the flashy vacations, the lifestyle designed to make people say, "Wow, he really won." But Desmond Haynes never seemed interested in playing that game, and that's where his story becomes unusual. Despite decades of success, there are no major headlines about him buying massive luxury estates. No reports about multi-million-dollar properties designed to impress the public. That decision says a lot. No social media posts showing expensive vehicles. No public obsession with proving wealth through possessions. In today's sports world, that feels almost rare, and perhaps even more surprising. He never aggressively turned his fame into a celebrity business empire. No fashion line, no lifestyle brand, no constant endorsement campaigns built around his image. Instead, he spent much of his post-cricket life doing far less glamorous work, serving as a selector, cricket administrator, club leader, and even a senator in Barbados. That path generates far less attention. But it also reveals something important about him. He may have intentionally avoided becoming a retired celebrity. And in many interviews over the years, Haynes has often sounded genuinely satisfied with what he already achieved. He helped dominate world cricket. He built historic records with Gordon Greenidge. He earned global respect. And that seemed to be enough. He never looked like a man trying to prove he was rich. And ironically, money was never the hardest part of retirement. Watching greatness disappear was. And this may be one of the most emotional parts of Desmond Haynes' story. Imagine helping build one of the greatest dynasties in sports history, and then spending your retirement watching that empire slowly fall apart. That was the reality for many legends of the West Indies cricket team, and Haynes lived through every painful chapter of that decline. During his era, West Indies felt almost untouchable. From roughly 1980 to 1995, they didn't lose a test series. Think about that for a second. 15 years of dominance. The team was stacked with legends like Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, Malcolm Marshall, and Joel Garner. They didn't just beat teams, they intimidated them. Then came the collapse. By the mid-1990s, the cracks became impossible to ignore. The batting declined, the fast bowling pipeline weakened, the aura disappeared, and over the next 2 decades, West Indies fell into repeated losing streaks, poor rankings, and painful inconsistency. By 2025 and 2026, the situation became even more painful for former legends to watch, including shocking collapses like being bowled out for just 27 runs, their lowest total in nearly 70 years. And the problems weren't just happening on the field. Leadership instability became a major issue after Viv Richards stepped down as captain in 1991. Over the following decades, the team cycled through countless captains. Player board conflicts became common. Internal divisions grew. Long-term planning often felt weak. And selectors, roles Haynes himself later stepped into, faced enormous criticism for poor long-term strategy and accusations of regional favoritism. That pressure became deeply personal, because when Haynes accepted leadership positions after retirement, he wasn't walking into glory. He was walking into a crisis. And the rebuilding process has been brutally difficult. West Indies cricket continues battling financial disadvantages compared to nations like India, weaker domestic systems, talent migration toward leagues like the Indian Premier League and Caribbean Premier League, and ongoing struggles to rebuild grassroots development. Even major review committees involving legends like Clive Lloyd, Brian Lara, and Viv Richards in 2025 haven't produced instant solutions. And many former players have openly admitted these struggles caused enormous frustration, and even sleepless nights. That's the twist most people never see. Retirement wasn't peaceful. It came with emotional weight. And that may explain why home eventually became even more important. After carrying that emotional burden, many legends begin searching for peace somewhere much smaller. For Desmond Haynes, that place was never difficult to find, because he never truly left it. Many famous athletes use success as an exit strategy. They leave home. They move into bigger cities. Desmond Haynes did the opposite. He stayed in Barbados, and more specifically, he remained deeply connected to Holders Hill, the same community that helped shape him long before international fame arrived. And his connection to that community goes far beyond simply living there. He has supported local development projects, including the Desmond Haynes Playing Facilities/Pavilion, helping create spaces where younger generations can play and grow. He also launched the Desmond Haynes Foundation, which focuses on education support and cricket opportunities for children. And he continues showing up. That part matters. He regularly appears at community events. He supports local youth programs. He spends time playing golf. And people in Barbados still treat him with enormous respect, not as a distant celebrity, but as someone they genuinely feel connected to. Many locals still see him as one of their own. That's why names like Lion of Barbados carry real emotional meaning, and his influence extends far beyond sports. He became chairman of the National Sports Council. He also served as an ambassador for Visit Barbados, helping promote the island internationally. That resume gave him plenty of opportunities to build a life elsewhere. And that's what makes his decision so fascinating. Success gave him freedom, but he used that freedom to stay, not escape. His international career gave him financial independence, global recognition, and opportunities many athletes dream about. Yet he still chose peace over relocation. family over status, community over isolation. And maybe that's why Desmond Haynes feels so rare today. In a world where many former stars keep chasing attention, Desmond Haynes chose peace, family, and a life that feels genuinely real. From terrifying bowlers around the world to living quietly in Barbados. His journey proves that success doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes the greatest flex is simply living life on your own terms. What do you think about Desmond Haynes' quiet life today? Would you choose fame or peace? Let us know in the comments below.